So, they're adding Detonate Dead to PoE 2. And if GGG balances PoE 2 the same way they balance PoE 1, then, well, Witch is only going to have one viable build. So yeah, that's basically all you need to know. Thanks for watching. I'm just kidding, and thankfully, GGG have already confirmed that Detonate Dead will be very different in PoE 2, mainly because it's very likely that Desecrate or any other corpse spawning mechanic will completely not exist. So this means Detonate Dead will actually probably be pretty trash, or at the very least very janky because you'll actually need to get corpses. Now that is actually the most important piece of news, at least for me. So earlier today, GGG just dropped the Witch reveal video and also did an interview with DM and Gazzy TV that also has a lot of information in it. As someone who plays exclusively Witch in PoE 1, all of this has gotten me super excited for PoE 2. And so I wanted to make a really quick video compiling all of the most important announcements and information regarding PoE 2 from the past few days. But without further ado, let's get into it. The biggest announcement that they showed was being able to play on controller as well as couch co-op. Both of these were received extremely well by the community. And also, early access is basically confirmed to be in November of this year. Jonathan stated that they will most likely not have all the classes finished and maybe not even all of the campaign acts, but they will have most of them. Now let's talk about the Witch. You probably already saw the reveal trailer, so I'm just going to breeze through these. The Witch is basically a combination of PoE 1's Necromancer and Occultist. This is the main class for minion builds, but there's actually 3 different main playstyles, which are obviously minions, but also chaos spells and bone skills. The bone skills are probably similar to what the Diablo 4 Necromancer has. For chaos spells in the trailer, they showed Essence Drain plus Contagion, which is a PoE 1 classic. And something that they're doing with pretty much all skills is adding interactivity. So for Contagion, if you raise a corpse that's infected with Contagion, then that minion will carry the Contagion and continue to spread it. The Witch will not be the only minion-focused class, but it will be the one for summoning a mass army of minions. There's going to be another class that's focused on very few strong minions, similar to Summon Reaper or Animate Guardian. Now for the minions in PoE 2, instead of the minion cap being on each individual skill gem, you are now capped globally by a new resource called Spirit. The stronger the minion, the more Spirit reserves, so the less of them you can have. A lot of minions will have an active skill. They can also be directed to open chests and doors. Permanent minions will automatically revive if none of them die in the past 6 seconds. There also seems to be a lot more different types of minions. So in the trailer for Skeletons, they showed Warriors, Brutes, Storm Mages, Ice Mages, Clerics, and Reavers, which all do different things. And they're bringing back Ray Spectre, so that's another few hundred more different types of minions. With the new gem system, it's going to be very viable to have multiple Ray Spectre gems, all 6-linked with different support gems to optimize different types of Spectres. Oh yeah, and Convocation is getting deleted. PoE 2 is going to be somewhat more open world than PoE 1, although not completely open world. So Jonathan talked about how throughout the campaign there will be branching paths, and also there's going to be a lot more optional side content like mini bosses or treasure rooms for you to discover. They're going to encourage exploration by making it so that your first kill on each unique monster will drop significantly better loot. And for each new league, the entire layout of the world map will be different. So something like reading zone layouts won't exist anymore. In the interview, they talked a bit about party play. Party play is mostly the same as in PoE 1, where the monster life goes up and item quantity goes up. But I believe item rarity no longer changes. And for the increased item quantity, this is apparently the only source in the entire game that gives increased item quantity. And it's no longer a flat increase to all items, but instead certain categories of items will drop more in order to make progression feel smoother. Like the example Jonathan gave is that weapons won't drop more, but jewelry will. In terms of supports, PoE 2 is going to try to move away from Orobots and have party compositions focus instead on cool skill interactions. Magic Find overall will be significantly reduced. As I mentioned earlier, increased item quantity is almost non-existent now, and increased item rarity will be a lot more rare. But increased item rarity will actually be more valuable now because they're giving currency and rare gears different tiers. So higher IIR will cause you to drop higher tier currencies, and higher tier gear means that they're more likely to have better stats on them. For the passive tree, there's only a few things, with the main one being that every starting area will have 3 versions. One version will be for each of the 2 classes that actually start in that area, and the last version for all other classes that simply path through that area. As for cluster jewels, Jonathan said they're cool, but they probably won't have time to add them, so maybe we'll get Delirium League 2.0. And lastly, a few other changes that they announced is that they're going to add an easy way to swap between controller and keyboard, which a lot of people apparently asked for. You can only use one of each support gem per character. This fact actually might not be new, but it definitely is important. They remove socket colors, so no more chromatics. Cyclone is unsurprisingly still in the game. And lastly, this is a weird one. Apparently, Righteous Fire will be so different that Jonathan thinks that the current MTX for Righteous Fire won't even work for it, whatever that means. And I think that's mostly everything. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything.